There are monsters that haunt our oldest stories, creatures of nightmare, born of darkness and chaos. And among them, one name has echoed through the millennia, a byword for terror: Medusa, the snake-haired gorgon whose gaze turns living flesh to cold, dead stone. She is the ultimate villain, the monster a hero must slay to prove his worth. This is the story we all know. And this story is a lie. It is a lie crafted by the powerful to hide a terrible crime. A lie that has been repeated for 3,000 years. The truth is far more tragic and far more horrifying. The truth is that Medusa was never the monster. The real monsters were the gods. To find the truth, we must travel back, before the snakes, before the stone gaze, to a time when Medusa was not a name to be feared, but a name to be admired. The ancient poets like Ovid tell us she was a mortal woman, one of 3 sisters, and she was beautiful. Not just beautiful, but breathtakingly so. Her most stunning feature was her hair, a glorious cascade of silk that men would cross the sea just to catch a glimpse of. But Medusa was more than just a beautiful face. She was a devout and faithful priestess in the temple of Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war. She had taken a vow of celibacy, dedicating her life and her body to the service of her goddess. She was the embodiment of purity and devotion. She was innocent, and her innocence would be her doom. Her beauty did not go unnoticed by the gods on Mount Olympus, and one god in particular began to watch her: Poseidon, the god of the seas, earthquakes, and storms, a deity of immense power and even more immense appetites. He desired her. He did not court her, he did not woo her. He saw what he wanted, and he decided to take it. He pursued her, and in her terror, Medusa fled to the one place she believed she would be safe, the sacred temple of her patron goddess, Athena. She threw herself at the foot of Athena's statue, begging for protection. But there is no sanctuary from a god. Poseidon followed her into the holy sanctum, and there, on the cold marble floor of the temple, he assaulted her. He violated her, a brutal act of divine power against mortal flesh. When the crime was over and Poseidon was gone, Medusa was left broken, weeping in the desecrated temple. And it was then that the goddess Athena finally appeared. But she did not appear with comfort or with justice. She appeared with rage. She was not angry at Poseidon, her powerful uncle, for defiling her sacred space. She was angry at Medusa. She saw not a victim, but a stain, a mortal woman whose impurity had polluted her temple. And so Athena, the goddess of wisdom, delivered her verdict. It was not justice. It was a curse, a punishment of unimaginable cruelty. She decided to take from Medusa the very thing that had attracted the unwanted attention of a god, her beauty. Athena twisted her face, turning her lovely features into a grotesque mask of horror. And her magnificent hair, the hair that poets had praised, the goddess transformed into a writhing, hissing nest of venomous snakes. But this was not enough. Athena added one final terrible touch. She cursed Medusa's gaze, so that any living thing she looked upon would instantly turn to stone. It was a curse of absolute isolation, a punishment designed not just to make her a monster, but to ensure she would spend eternity utterly, terrifyingly alone. This is the heart of the tragedy. Medusa was punished for being the victim of a crime. She was blamed for the actions of a powerful male god by a powerful female goddess. Her body, which had been violated, was now the source of her monstrosity. Her face, which had been a source of admiration, was now a weapon of death. She was exiled, forced to live in a remote cave at the edge of the world, a monster in a story she never wrote. The world that had once admired her beauty now feared her very existence. And the gods, the perpetrators of this injustice, simply moved on. Years passed. Medusa, the victim, was now Medusa, the monster of myth, a terrifying creature, a challenge for any hero brave enough to seek her out. And such a hero did arise, Perseus, the son of Zeus. To prove his worth, he was sent on an impossible quest to bring back the head of Medusa. But even here, the injustice continues. Perseus did not face her alone. He was aided by the very gods who had created her. Athena, the same goddess who had cursed Medusa, gave Perseus a mirrored shield. Hermes gave him a pair of winged sandals. Hephaestus gave him an unbreakable sword. The hero was armed by the powerful. The victim was left with nothing but her curse. Perseus found Medusa in her lair. He did not face her gaze. He used the reflection in his shield to guide his hand, and while she slept, he cut off her head. Even in death, the gods were not finished with her. Her severed head, its power still intact, became a weapon for the hero. Perseus used her petrifying gaze to defeat his enemies, to turn a sea monster to stone, to win a kingdom. The head of the victim became the trophy of the victor. The final grotesque irony is that from the blood that dripped from her severed neck, 2 children were born, Chrysaor and the winged horse, Pegasus. They were the children of Poseidon, the children of her assault, born only at the moment of her death. The story of Medusa is a lie. It is a piece of ancient propaganda, a story that takes a horrific crime and twists it into a tale of heroic adventure. It is a story that teaches us that it is easier to create a monster than to confront a crime. It is a story that has been used for centuries to silence victims and to justify the actions of the powerful. But if we look past the snakes, past the stone gaze, and see the innocent priestess in the temple, we find a much older and much more important story. A story of injustice, a story of survival, and a timeless, tragic reminder that the monsters we are taught to fear are often the victims we have refused to see